How are you doing?
I'm all right. Are we starting the show now, or are we waiting?
We're recording.
Okay, we're recording. Okay, how you doing, Emily?
Emily's doing good.
Good.
Yeah, we had a broken AC, and it was the hottest. It was like 90 degrees.
No, it was more than that.
It was like 95 degrees.
Like at one point, I got in my car and they said it was 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did that to me yesterday.
So
yeah,
we.
it's a bit miserable in the Midwest. Don't go outside; it's too hot.
No, I like it though. I'd rather be hot than cold.
See, I'm hot and cold on the subject. I say that I'd rather be incredibly hot than super cold, but then it gets real hot,
And then you
and
just
then
complain.
I'm just miserable.
Well, our AC busted on, what was it, Friday night? And Saturday, Jeff was at work and I was at home alone all day. And when he got off work, I was like, pack a bag, we're going to your parents' house. I can't do this anymore. So.
The AC in my car's busted. That sucks.
That does suck.
Yeah.
I had that
I
problem.
can easily fix it, but I'm lazy.
Hey, sometimes you got to be lazy. But you should just go get it fixed. I think you might just need to get a...
It's an easy fix.
Yeah,
I'm going to take
should
care
do
of it tomorrow, which is what I've been saying for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, well, now you've got everybody holding you accountable, all of our listeners.
Oh, hi, listeners. How's it
Hello.
going? Didn't see you there. Come on in.
Hello, listeners. Won't you be my neighbor?
Hey, pal.
No.
Hey, welcome to our show, Tudor. I hardly know her. It's been a while.
Poe wanted to podcast with us. He just hopped up here and put the brakes on when it moved. So if you heard the bump, it was him. It has been a while. How you guys doing? How's your family? How's your mom?
Say hi to your mother for me.
Did you have a good Memorial Day?
For those in the States.
Did you have a good royal wedding? For those not in the States?
Oh, yeah.
That happened.
Yeah,
That all
happened.
went through.
I did. Although I think we might have talked about the royal wedding last episode.
Well, we talked about that movie.
Yeah.
Was that all? Well, the royal wedding happened.
Because the royal wedding had not happened when the episode aired.
Well, it did happen now. It happened last weekend. The weekend before this previous one. And it was a lovely day.
Did you watch it, Emily?
No, I had a migraine. I woke up and it felt like a screwdriver had been slammed into my eyeball. So, no, I slept. But then when I woke up, I got to watch everything all at once. So it was very pretty. And I just like people who are in love. So...
Oh, I give him a week. It's been a week, so.
A week from now or a week from the marriage? Or a week from the wedding? Because if it's the latter, you're SOL.
Have any of the royals gotten divorced?
Only one, named Henry VIII.
No.
Well, that we know of. And we love them.
No.
There's lots of them. I know that.
All right, hold on. Let's break down the divorces. So, fun fact.
Break it down.
There were no divorces in the royal family between Henry VIII and Queen Elizabeth Queen Elizabeth II's sister I think she divorced in like 1970 something. So
For what?
that was a good big chunk of time where nobody divorced. I mean, they probably still hated each other, but no. So it started with her sister, Margaret. She got divorced. And that's probably going to be in season 2 of The Crown. Or season 3. Sorry, season 3. We already watched season 2. And then, do you guys really not know about the other divorces?
Nope.
No. Some of us don't pay attention to British history and
All right.
monarchies and whatnot.
Well, the most famous fucking divorce is Diana and Charles.
Okay, so I didn't know if they actually got divorced or if they were in the middle of it and then she
No.
kicked the bucket.
No, they divorced because Charles was a douche canoe having an affair
Okay.
and treating her like garbage.
I remember he was a douchebag.
He probably still is a douchebag. So he was having a divorce he was having an affair, and eventually she started having her own affair. But that was like 8 or 9 years after he started banging other people.
That's where we got the song "Dirty Diana."
Yes, that's precisely where it comes from. So
that's not true, by the way.
So they got divorced, and I think their divorce was finalized like 3 years before she died.
Okay.
And then Charles's brother Andrew was married to Sarah Ferguson, and she's called Fergie, not the Fergalicious Fergie, but the other one. And they got divorced.
Do you think that long stretch of no divorces was? I mean, when did marrying for political gain and like relations between countries fall out of vogue? Do you think?
1900s. No.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you think that might have had a big part in it?
Well,
No.
did Victoria at all marry for any political?
She married her cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg, and it was beneficial
Ew.
politically, but she also loved him.
Okay.
I love you like a cousin.
So
I like hearing the can open while you say that.
you could say that Diana
I tried to layer a joke over it. It didn't work.
You could say that Diana marrying Charles was political because she came from a noble family and she wasn't. So Charles loved Camilla and he would have married her, but she was already married and of a lower class. So their marriage wasn't really okay.
I
So
mean,
you could
marrying
argue.
a lower class ones that stopped before. I mean, Harry just married an American.
No, I don't think the political thing had anything to do with it because treaties make or break. Treaties can be made and unmade all the time. I think it was just that divorce was never an option unless you're Henry VIII. Speaking
In which
of,
case, you just make your own rules.
yeah, and then do what you want and say God
Yeah.
said it was cool. Speaking of,
Yeah, we've gone on for a while at this beginning part. The pregame,
are you ready to game?
the podcast foreplay, as I like to call it.
Are you ready to game?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we've had a couple of requests for this topic, and after the last one, I finally decided that this is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about Tudor Ireland. And I'm really sorry. There's a lot of Irish names in here. I took the Anglicanized.
Let's have a fun little game. Anytime a new name pops up, give it to yourself, Jeff, or me, and then we'll do our best.
Well, there's only one name I actually saved
No.
because the other ones had mostly English-y versions of them. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so
That's starting the episode.
Let's start with a little bit of background about Ireland. There's a lot, and this episode got a little bit. All of my notes are very. I start going into details and then I give it up, and try and summarize it because there's so much shit that happens in Ireland. So
We can break it up.
I tried. So this
You know
is what we've got. So
Okay, we're doing it live.
fuck it. So 1500, the monarchy of England has a delegated government of Ireland, and the people who are the delegated head honchos of Ireland, but still report to England, are the Fitzgeralds of Kildare. So their last name is Fitzgerald, and they are the Earls of Kildare. So not actually running Ireland and just kind of outsourcing it kept costs low, much like modern day America. So the key person was called the Lord Deputy of Ireland, and they were the chief of administration. So they were basically the Hermes Conrad of government of Ireland. So it did have its own parliament, I don't even understand the English Parliament, so don't ask me to understand the Irish Parliament as it was. But there were laws that were passed in the 1500s and late 1400s that kind of limited the power of that parliament. So they really didn't have that much power. So, are you ready to talk about what actually happened with all these fucking rebellions? Because they spent just like 100 years rebelling. Like, I'm sure there was a lot more before that, but the Tudor time was just
fighting Irish.
Yes.
That's racist, isn't it?
Fighting
Or
Irish?
insensitive.
I don't think so.
I think it is. I think because I am from South Bend, Indiana, where it's home to Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and I feel like there's been blowback against that mascot as of late. Now that people are becoming a little more aware of what may or may not be.
But it's
whatever.
a
That's neither here nor
leprechaun.
there.
They're not even fucking real.
The Irish?
Leprechauns.
Yeah,
the Notre
well,
Dame mascot is a leprechaun.
The mascot is a leprechaun, but the name is Fighting Irish.
So what? Leprechauns are Irish.
The fighting
Yeah.
leprechauns. Not the same brand.
Yeah, they could be the Fighting Leprechauns.
Why do
Doesn't have a
people
good ring to
have
it.
to get butthurt about everything?
I can see why somebody would get mad.
I don't.
I totally see it.
I don't.
Emily, you lost your woke card.
I am slept. I am not woke, apparently, to this issue. I'm Irish, Garrett. I am like 75% Irish.
Yeah, but you don't speak for all Irish people.
So are you saying the people who are pissed about the leprechaun do speak for all Irish people? That's a generalization, Garrett. I resent you.
Okay, let's get out of this topic.
Okay, so the House of Kildare was in charge, and they had a lot of issues because they kept supporting the Yorkist claim to the throne in the late 1400s. Remember how they were the Lancasters and the Yorkists? And at one point when Henry VII was on the throne, a pretender popped up in Ireland, and Ireland was like, here's some money, go pretend to be king. So that did cause a lot of issues. And then in 1534, their rival family, the Butlers, were awarded the Lord Deputy position. So the Kildares were like, well, fuck this noise, and they rebelled. So what happened was Thomas Fitzgerald was their name. He was the Earl of Kildare. So in 1534, his father was called to London, probably to answer for some other rebellion. And when his father left, he was like, Tom, watch for shit going down here. You're in charge. You're the man of the house now. It's like that time my dad left to get cigarettes and left me in charge and said he'd be back, and he never came back.
God, that's my favorite joke.
That joke is my favorite, and the FBI watching us is my favorite joke. I will never not think that's funny. So Dad left to get some cigarettes, and then there were rumors coming back that his father had been imprisoned and executed, and that Henry VIII was going to do the same to little Tom and his 5 uncles. So Tom was like, fuck this noise, and he rebelled, as they did. So Thomas summoned a council, and on June 11th, he rode to an abbey, and he publicly renounced his allegiance to Henry VIII, who at that time was only the Lord of Ireland. Ireland was a lordship, lordland. Let's go with
lordship.
that. Nope, we're going with Lordland.
Lordland.
So Henry wasn't the king of Ireland at that point. So a lot of people were trying to talk Thomas down. They were like, dude, this is a bit extreme. These are just rumors. You really shouldn't do that. But Thomas was like, fuck you guys. I've got this rebellion in my gut. We're going to do it. He also had a ton of resources at his disposal. So things were looking good for Thomas. Not good for the people who really didn't feel like rebelling.
Could we not?
Counterpoint, could we not rebel? Maybe.
Let's try this real quick.
What
Let's
if-
not.
What if we debate this issue? We could set up a town hall. You could go on one side. We can have the Lord Deputy on the other. We can just talk this out like civilized human beings. No, that didn't work. So the really irritating thing is they all had like 5,000 different names. And because Wikipedia is created by people like me, sometimes they refer to him as a different name, and it takes me forever to figure out who's doing what. But this is what I've gathered. At some point, Thomas Kildare, the Fitzgerald guy, declared that all goods and chattel, I think chattel is animals, belonging to the king's subjects were forfeit. And then he took it a step further and he said, and also, I'm going to execute you if you were born in England. So he sounds like a very reasonable fellow. And then during a battle, it's possible that Thomas ordered an archbishop executed, and the archbishop was trying to do what you and I were talking about, where he was just like, counterpoint, let's debate. He was just trying to mediate, and the archbishop was executed. So the clergy were like, well, fuck you. We don't give a shit what you think. We're not helping you out. And then, in a wonderful twist, it turns out his father had not been executed. However, he did die. And the crown was like, well, you're rebelling, and so we refuse to give you the title of the Earl of Kildare. So you're not even the 10th Earl. No more. And then things were it was kind of up and down for a little while for Kildare. He would go to battle, win some, go to battle, lose some. And then he had one of his strongholds, like his big, his Winterfell, basically. And he lost it because the English force was able to bribe a guard into opening the door for them.
It was so easy back then.
I know. I just couldn't help but think, like, imagine if everything happened all the time. Like, every battle, every war was as easy as bribing the right
Give us the
guard.
key to the gates. I don't have any keys to the gates.
Fezzik ripped his arms off.
Oh, you mean these keys?
You mean this key. So eventually he...
Like, it's so easy to bribe people. Like,
I know.
I was thinking about this the other day. Judas just betrayed Jesus for 3 pieces of silver.
I know. Judas is a bitch.
Totally could have gotten more.
Judas.
He should have tried,
I mean,
gold, man.
how much were 3 pieces of silver back then?
Let's look it up.
You continue the show. I'll look it up.
No. We don't need to look it up. Continue being present. So eventually Kildare lost more and more support, and Lord Leonard Grey was sent from England as the new lieutenant or Lord Deputy. Sorry, I keep fucking that name up. Lord Deputy. And Kildare was like, I'm not doing too hot. Do you think Henry would pardon me for this rebellion? And Grey was like, sure. He seems like a good guy. It's 1535. Things haven't gone to shit yet. Yeah.
I like how I want to believe that the people in the town are like, well, it is 1535. Things aren't bad yet. Why am I talking like this?
So,
By the way, I found out it's 30 pieces of silver. I thought it was 3.
I mean,
30 pieces. This is from Quora. It was a question. So 30 pieces are about 5 weeks' money based on a 6-day working week. Ugh. In terms of purchasing power, each silver piece was probably worth about $20. The standard of living being much, much lower than in modern societies, so the 30 pieces are worth about $600.
he sold out his best buddy for $600.
The Son of God for $600.
The savior of mankind.
But did you not see the Xbox he got with it?
They had a deal. give us your false prophet and we'll give you $600 and an Xbox.
That's a skit I want to see. Just a scene of just Judas trying to haggle and being really shitty at it.
They planned on giving him like thousands and thousands and thousands. Like they were planning on giving him like $50K worth of silver and gold. And he walks in and he's like, I want 600. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay.
We'll give you 30 and you get to kiss him.
Anyway, Gray was like, yeah, I'm totally sure Henry would actually be totally fine with you just submitting. All you have to do is say, I'm sorry, I'm sure it'll be good. Except that didn't happen because then Henry had Kildare and 5 of his uncles executed at Tyburn. They were in prison for like a year before he executed them too, so he was playing mind games with them. And then the head of their family was imprisoned, and the only reason I wrote that down is because the guy's name was Geroid Og. And that is what I want my child's name to be.
Geroid Dog.
Geroid Og.
Geroid. I thought it was Gilroy Dog.
Gearoid space OG. And I'm sure it's probably pronounced something like Gilroy, but that's Scottish, Garrett. So
by the way, why would they just put people in prison for like years and years when they knew they were just gonna fucking kill them?
Sometimes you don't kill them for political purposes. Like,
and they're also sick bastards and like seeing people like suffer before they're dead.
Dude, guys, Henry VIII played fucking mind games.
They're like Harold Ramis in Ghostbusters 2 when they give the kid the puppy and it's like, let's see what happens when we take the puppy away.
All right, wait. Let me tell you about Henry VIII's mind games. These are true. While he was married to Catherine Howard, one of her relatives.
That was number 5, right?
Yes. Good job.
Okay.
One of Catherine Howard's relatives, like a cousin or second cousin or something like that, got into a fight in court. You are not allowed to fight in court. He punched somebody and drew blood. Big no-no. The punishment for that no-no is you get your hand chopped off.
Holy shit. So
Henry VIII had the whole thing prepped. He brought the guy to a room. Henry VIII wasn't present, but there was like the head butcher. He provided the knife. There was like a guy who was an executioner. They had somebody who was bringing like wine and spirits and shit. They had a guy with an iron ready to burn the wound, to cauterize
somebody brought
it.
Wine and spirits?
What?
Did you say somebody brought wine and spirits?
Yeah, to, I don't know,
beer and
get the guy
wine.
fucking drunk before his hand was chopped off. So Henry VIII was like, we're going to do this after lunch. And so the guy's after lunch waiting in this room to have his hand chopped off, waiting for this order from Henry VIII. Hours go by, and then Henry VIII is like, let's wait till after dinner. And then after dinner comes by, and Henry VIII's like, all right, I'm just kidding. Don't do it again. And sends him on his way. Then, quickly out, like within a month, there were this group of courtiers. I think they were courtiers. The group of people. Yes, they were courtiers. And one got together, his group of friends, and he was like, let's do some illegal poaching. So
y'all want to do some illegal shit?
So he planned on going into the king's forest and killing the king's game in there, which was illegal. And so this group led by this one, I think the guy's name was like Nicholas Cavendish or something. Nicholas something. So
sounds British.
Nicholas was leading this group, and he was a young kid. He was like 18 or 19. And they run into somebody in the forest, and they're afraid the guy's going to tell on them, so they beat him. And one of the guys, not Nicholas, one of the guys like delivered a death blow to him. Basically, he did a one-punch man, and he killed the guy. So Henry VIII had the whole group rounded up, imprisoned. Nicholas, who did not deliver the blow but was the lead of the poaching party, was taken to be hanged. And Henry VIII was like, let's wait till after lunch. So this guy is sitting with the noose around his neck.
Hold on, I've heard this one before.
So the guy has the noose around his neck, and he's just standing on this platform waiting for it to drop. And Henry VIII is like, wait till after lunch. After lunch comes, and then without notice, he gets an order, and so the platform is dropped from under him, and he dies.
Oh.
Henry VIII played fucking mind games. He was a monster.
The one you're talking about where you just kept like letting the guy just sit in a room, wait and wait. There was a bit in an episode of Community where they're gonna try like like a psychology class or something like that. So they're trying to do a test to see how long it takes for people to crack. So they're just left in a room to wait. And they just keep telling them to wait and wait. And one of the characters will not leave. And so the people who are watching the test, the ones who are supposed to be conducting the test, they start going crazy and insane and trying to figure out what's going on.
Who was it, Abed?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Abed.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
Henry.
like Abed.
That's Henry VIII.
They're like, why did you leave? Because you told me to wait in the room.
I thought you were going to tell me that he left the guy at the
Noose.
at the noose, and it's like, okay, we're all gonna break for lunch. You just wait here, and then just night comes, and they never return.
No, he actually had him hanged. He was a dick. Okay, so back to having the guy imprisoned.
It seems like if game shows were around back then,
Henry
he
VIII
would have totally
invented
made
them.
game shows out of people's executions.
Yeah, he really did.
Wheel of torture, spin, spin, spin.
Tell us the torture. You
And,
should win.
I mean, it's fucked up, but I would have watched.
So because of this whole rebellion, Henry VIII was like, oh shit, maybe I should pay attention to Ireland because they're important because they help keep our western coastline safe. So a policy of surrender and regrant was enacted, and what that meant was that royal protection was given to all of Ireland's elite, regardless of ethnicity. So that's important because the Gaelics were there. And they were, I'm pretty sure they were viewed as second-class citizens, but they were given the protection, and in return they had to obey the law of the central government. And in that time, in 1541, the Irish Parliament turned the lordship into a kingdom. So that's when Henry VIII became King of Ireland. And that was important because it brought in the loyalty of the Gaelic. Gaelic. So things went back to normal, which was pretty much that Ireland would do what it wanted and wouldn't rebel. And Henry VIII was like, okay, that's fine. The Reformation caused some unhappiness, but the Lord Deputy was kind of bribed people to shut the fuck up about it. He was like, I'm sorry you don't get to pray to your rosary. Here's a silver piece. Go away. And then Henry died, and things changed in that there were a lot more rebellions. One of those rebellions was because Queen Mary confiscated land from two clans, the O'Connor clan and the O'More clan. And she had this giant plot of land set aside so that settlers from England could go in and turn them into plantations. So these two clans were shit out of luck. And so they rebelled. Didn't really do much. There were a lot of these little itty bitty rebellions that popped up. And then the Irish lords were fighting amongst themselves a lot. There was one that rose up called the Desmond Rebellions. And these happened in the 1560s, 70s, and 80s. And this was one of them where I was like, okay, I'm going to go into the background of the Desmond Rebellions. And then I started reading it and I'm like, oh, fuck, no. Really fucking complicated, guys. But essentially, they wanted to prevent English influence in their territory. The leaders of the Desmond Rebellion, which is pretty much what all the rebellions are really about. So now we're going to get into a very interesting woman, and it was requested a while ago that we do an episode about her. I can't remember who requested it, but thank you for introducing me to this person I didn't know existed. Her name was Grace O'Malley. So her father was the lord of the O'Malley dynasty.
By the way, I'm sorry, Emily. Thank God this is a new name.
Oh my God, I know. Oh my God, you should hear the Irish version of it. I cannot fucking make sense of it. Hold on, let me just do a quick. You would have gotten confused as fuck if I'd tried doing their Irish names.
I'm typing it in.
Nope, I got it. Grace O'Malley. Also, fuck me. Grain O'Malley. Or Grain Nimale. I don't fucking know. Her father was Igyon Dudara O'Malley. It's
Ogun did no, that sounds bad.
It's so bad. So she's Grace. So Grace.
By the way, we're struggling and we're kind of laughing about this, but I think Irish names are cool as shit.
Oh, I do like Irish names. It's just if
Like,
I had any
like-
indication of how to pronounce it, it's like Welsh. I can't figure out how to pronounce it. I'm really sorry. I really do try my hardest not to skip foreign names because I feel like it's disrespectful when I'll try and pronounce like a white person's name, but I won't try and pronounce an Indian name or whatever. So I try really fucking hard to never do that, but I feel like I'm butchering it. And so because they have Anglicanized names, I'm going to use those. Sorry,
Like
Irish
that-
people.
A name that I've learned to love is Saoirse. Saoirse?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saoirse. What the hell?
Saoirse. I always thought it was Sarze. But Saoirse's...
I thought I just took it at face value. It said Saoirse.
There's a name that's Irish. It's Siobhan, but it's spelled Siaobhan. So that's why I won't try and pronounce any of these Irish names. So anyway,
Lovely,
her father was the Lord of the O'Malley dynasty and the ruler of Umal. And he controlled a large portion of the coast, which was really beneficial because A, he was able to pop up lots of castles there and help defense, and B, he was able to charge anybody who fished on the coast. So in 1546, Grace married her husband. This was the one name I saved. I don't know why. Donal? Oh, fuck.
Donald, fuck.
Donal on Shagad o Flaith Batarg. His last name was O'Flaherty. Let's
Okay, I gotta look this name up.
good luck fucking finding it. So she married him, and it was really beneficial for her because he was going to inherit a ton of awesome lands. They had 3 children, and then her husband was killed in an ambush. So she was like, all right, well, I'm single, rich. Things are going pretty well for me. So she took a sailor lover, and then the sailor lover...
that's a hell of a name, by the way.
What?
Donald and Chore. No.
Told you.
I'm just ruining it. Any Irish listener we have is angry at us.
Oh, man, it's
They've
awful.
already unsubscribed.
So...
Continue. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So she took a sailor lover, and then somebody killed the sailor lover. So she went for revenge and attacked Castle Duna. And she became known as the Dark... Oh, she, won the castle, by the way. She killed everybody, and the castle became hers.
Holy shit.
Oh, wait, that happened later. But she did kill a lot of people. And she became known as the Dark Lady of Duna. And then in 1566, she married again a man named Iron Richard. Fuck, I can't read how I... Bork. The Swedish chef, apparently. Bork.
That looks like it just might be Burke.
I'm going with Bork. Bork.
The Bork identity.
So she married a man named Iron Richard. That was his nickname. And I'm assuming that meant he was a very gentle lover.
Iron Dick.
Iron Dick. They had 1 child together. And apparently she still had a thirst for revenge because she sailed for Ballycroy, attacked Duna Castle again, and this is when she took it. So she was basically Theon Greyjoy's badass sister from Game of Thrones. What was her name?
Lyanna?
No.
Yara?
What?
Yara?
Yara. Thanks,
Yara.
Game of Thrones expert in-house. Our buddy Eric's here. She's basically Yara Greyjoy. I wouldn't be surprised if Yara is based off of her. she's famous among the Irish, or at least she was around that time period. I don't know if her legend still stands.
I mean, it should. She sounds pretty badass.
If you're from Ireland, tell me. So she was trying to ensure that England would stay the fuck out of her business. She was really sick of them interfering. So that's really what her entire goal was. She's like, you do you. I'm going to stay over here with my fucking awesome castles and my really baller coastline, and I'll do me. And the English were like, no, we demand colonization of anything and everything. So an English governor eventually took 2 of her sons and her half-brother prisoner. So Grace was like, well, fuck this noise. And in 1593, she sailed to England to try and convince Elizabeth that England was being a bunch of dickbags. So apparently, Elizabeth, when she arrived to England, they went to Greenwich Palace. They didn't meet yet. Elizabeth apparently first sent her, like, I don't know, the world's biggest fucking questionnaire. Don't know what the questions are. 1, are you going to try and kill me? 2, I got nothing. Brain not working. So Grace answered the questions. Elizabeth was satisfied, and she's like, well, then let's come on in and meet. So they met at Greenwich Palace, and they both dressed very elegantly. And Grace refused to bow to Elizabeth because she refused to acknowledge her as the Queen of Ireland. And I think that is fucking badass. So
that is pretty ballsy.
Apparently Grace also had a dagger hidden on her, and they searched her and they found it. And she's like, I keep that on me for my own protection. And Elizabeth was like, sounds legit. It's cool. She's fine.
That's my stabbing dagger.
That's my murder knife.
Not for queens, mind you.
No, I have a different one for queens. So
see, it's right here.
So a lot of what she did, like, really freaked out the court. Like, everybody in the court was like, she just brought a dagger in here. And then apparently at some point, I don't know why this was written down. It's such a weird detail. At some point she sneezed, and a lady in the court gave her the handkerchief. She blew her nose in the handkerchief and then threw it in the fire, and everybody was aghast. And she's like, okay, well, in Ireland, when you blow your nose in a handkerchief, that makes it pretty fucking disgusting, so we throw them out.
I agree with her. That is...
Me too.
My grandpa used to do that, and that was so disgusting.
Me fucking too. Like, Ireland one-upped us.
That's how Kleenex was invented.
Grace O'Malley invented the Phoenix. What? Kleenex. I don't know why I said Phoenix. We were watching Harry Potter earlier. So, anyway, she and Elizabeth talk, and they agree that Grace would stop supporting all the rebellions if Elizabeth got rid of her Lord Deputy and a couple of other things. Elizabeth didn't do the couple other things, but she did get rid of the Lord Deputy. So Grace was like, baller, I'm going to go home. I'll keep the peace. I'll stay there. You stay here. Everything's fine. And Elizabeth was like, cool, for like 5 days. And then she brought back the same Lord Deputy that Grace asked to be removed, and then basically reneged on everything. So Grace was like, well, fuck you. And she supported rebellion again during what was called the 9 Years' War. During the 9 Years' War, they actually were able to gather support from Spain, but that had more to do with the English-Spanish War than anything. Spain was just like, well, they're being a pain in the ass on your side, so we're going to give them your, enemy of my enemy is my friend and all that. But in 1603, Grace died, Elizabeth died, and Ireland officially fell under English control. So that led to the disarmament of Irish lords. Irish culture, law, and language were replaced, and the Irish lords lost their lands. So then to complete the transition, thousands of English, Scottish, and Welsh settlers were sent to Ireland to make them as non-Irish as possible. And that is Ireland during the Tudor times.
So, I'm reading up on her a little bit while you're talking. She was referred to as a fucking pirate queen.
Yeah.
And people made like metal and like rock and like punk songs about her.
Yeah.
That's a legacy.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
don't
hell
know-
of a legacy.
I don't know how I never heard of her before.
Yeah, she sounds pretty. Well, I mean, you're not. Are you that into Irish history?
I mean, I guess
I
I'm
think
not.
you might have found your new calling, Miss I'm Irish.
Yeah, I only found out I'm Irish recently. My uncle did a 23andMe thing, and he's from the Geckel side of the family. That's my mom's side, and so we all assumed we were super German. I'd rather be Irish than German, though. Sorry, Germans.
Oh, I'm German.
I always thought I was somewhat. You mean with a name like Kaiser? What?
Did I ever tell you about me finding out what my last name means?
I think maybe, but I don't remember the story.
Okay, I thought I mentioned on the podcast. Well, here you go again. I've always been told, and there was a German kid, exchange student in high school, that told me that my last name was Kaiser, like Kaiser. It meant king, like Caesar. And I was like, that is so badass and so cool.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I
Kaiser
looked it up
Wilhelm.
recently. Turns out the way my name is spelled, it's Kaiser, which is cheesemaker.
Slightly different profession.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you sure?
So, I
Nuh-uh,
think
Garrett.
the Kaiser thing.
Garrett,
can still
how do
be
you spell Garrett? How do you spell your last name?
Kaser?
Oh, God damn it! If you had the I, you would be Kaiser.
Well, everyone calls me Kaiser because people don't bother to read my last name properly, so I take it.
Sorry, we call you.
You know what? Maybe there was a translation thing when my family came over. You don't know.
My grandmother's last name was made up by my grandfather when he came to the States.
What was it?
Ah, yes, the Flabbergubens.
That's where my
Dean.
that's where my middle name comes from.
Right, I forgot about that.
He made up the name. Well, the thing is, my dad found the original document that he signed on when he came into the States, and he signed it as Dane, Daen. But then he was a ferry boat captain in San Francisco. He before they had the Golden Gate Bridge, he would drive the ferry that took people across the bay. When we found his license, it's then spelled Dean as Dean. And I think my dad said his original last name was something like Rasmussen or something like that. He was from something Scandinavian. But yeah, so my middle name's just made up by my great grandfather.
That's how the word Dean got invented.
Yes, he
Community
invented
owes you money.
the word. Supernatural owes you money.
Supernatural owes you money. Every college in America owes you money.
Gilmore Girls owes you money.
Jared
Jared Padalecki owes you a lot of money.
Whoever has the state to Jimmy Dean owes me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean sausages.
Yep. My dad's name is Jimmy Dean.
That should all be Jimmy Dane.
James Dean.
Anyway,
That was the Irish. So when did the Irish start becoming their own country again? Are they still
I was only asked about the Tudor Irish. I don't know.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you knew or not.
I don't know. Oh, wait. The Irish continue to hate the English.
Yeah, I always knew that part.
I know. I know in the early 1900s there were issues with the Irish rebelling, so I'm pretty sure the Irish didn't have independence then. Did the Irish ever gain independence? Isn't that why they have the terror group? What's the terror group?
The IRA.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to ask about this, but they might still be fighting.
Hey,
for independence of
FBI,
a
if you're
sort.
listening, could you
Can you tell us? Thanks.
just, send it to my phone? DM
Always
me.
wanted to go to Ireland, though. Here it's lovely.
I've
Yeah,
always wanted to go to Ireland.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing there.
I'd rather go to Ireland than England
Really?
because it's prettier and sexier accents. Sorry, English guys, you guys got the West London or whatever that. You sound like you're from London.
What you mean our accents aren't sexy? I love that fucking
Nothing
accent.
turns me on more than a Cockney accent.
I love a good Cockney. Well, phrasing.
I love
accent,
me a
love
good
Welsh
Cockney.
accent.
Oh man. I mean, if we do go, we're gonna roll England and Scotland and Ireland into one vacation because we plan on being there for a couple weeks. But
And 1 year in Ireland, pay your respects to Grace O'Malley.
fuck yeah, I will.
I'll drink some whiskey to her.
Kiss the Blarney Stone for her.
Like I really want some good like Irish whiskey from there.
I think the Scottish are better known for their whiskey.
I heard them Kentuckians make a good whiskey. And on that note, is that all that we have for today, Emily?
That's all, except find us on Facebook at Tudor I Hardly Know Her. Find us on Twitter at Tudor Know Her. Rate and review us. Subscribe. That's it.
Yeah. Sorry, right now we're
Cool.
going to this bi-weekly format, but it's just we're so freaking busy right now, and
Yeah, I
Been
felt
exhausted.
like if I do weekly, I won't be able to give it the attention it deserves. So
but don't worry, it's
Bi-weekly is
not
better.
it's not a permanent thing. It'll probably we'll most likely try to get back to weekly again once we're able to.
Indeed.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so until next
Thanks
time.
thanks for hanging in with us and not calling us, sellouts or shitbags for not putting out one a week.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. We love all you.
We love you guys.
So until next time.
Oh yeah, until next time.
Divorced,
Dead,
beheaded, died.
survived.
Divorced, beheaded,
dead,
survived.
Divorced.
Goodbye.
Divorced. I forgot. And scene.